You said we're live right now.
Yes.
A couple seconds.
Shareef's gonna start it.
Okay.
Peace and blessings, family. This is Brother Shareef and Ptah Shakur with the Hour of Power. Thank you for tuning in. We'll open up with our announcements and universal prayer, and then we'll get into this much anticipated interview with our dear sister here. So in the name of God, the gracious, the merciful, we give him praise and thanks for his mercy and his goodness to the human family. If all the trees upon the earth were pens to write with, and if all the oceans were ink, and another 7 oceans to add to its supply, the writing would still not be enough to explain the glory of God, for he's the gracious, the merciful. Even if I lived to be 1,000, it would still not be enough to thank God for his many blessings and gifts. We thank God for the Metu Neter, oracle scriptures and writings that came on the continent of Africa thousands of years before any organized religion. We thank God for Moses in the Torah, Jesus in our gospel, and Muhammad with the Quran. I greet everyone in words of peace. To my Christian family, praise the Lord. To my Muslim family, Assalamu alaikum and Ramadan Mubarak. To my Hebrew Israelite family, Shalom. To my Black Conscious family, Hotep. And to my Native American family, Halito. And to my people in the streets, what's good to you? It all means peace. So we are here to this wonderful Wednesday evening with this much anticipated interview. But before we bring our sister on, Brother Ptah will give the weekly announcements.
Grand Rising, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you are into the most powerful all hours. This is the Hour of Power broadcast coming out live call-in program. You see the call-in number on the bottom of the screen there. This is going out to the White Rose Community Channel 16, 18, as well as this is streaming live on Facebook. So this is a community program. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your achievements. We want to celebrate with you. We need some feel-good stories. We got a lot of things going on in the world today, and so this is what this program is for. If you have any type of businesses that you want to bring to the body, bring to the family, we certainly want to hear from the youth. We want to hear from the youth, whether they're business, entrepreneurship, whether they go to college, whether they go off to the military. We want to hear from the youth. All diverse opinions are wanted and respected here. I believe we unite together, but we got to be able to speak freely and with respect with one another. So regardless of whatever your political affirmations or whatever your type of, whatever you have to share in the form of peace, prosperity, to bring education and motivation and inspiration, this is the program for you. So like I said, this is an hour-long program. If you're watching on the channel 1618, we're going to cut off right at 9 o'clock. But for those on Facebook, you're going to get that exclusive access. We will go longer if needed. And I will be paying attention to the comments on the screen. So if you have any questions or comments that you want to pose to our host or the guest, please do so. Or you can call in 717-846-5067. Back to you.
All right. And not that you need any introduction, but introduce yourself, young lady.
So, hello everybody. My name is Britney Walker. I am here from York, Pennsylvania. Went to Devers, went to Smith. I didn't graduate high school here, but charge it to my mom, not me. Okay. But I decided to raise my family here. I decided to come back here after serving in the military and just creating a life here. So I'm just here to share some of the things that I'm involved in, give you guys some, as they say in the church, some church announcements as far as things in the community that are going on, or as Rich Craighead would say, positive propaganda. And, you know, keep pushing the initiative of unity forward, of empowerment forward, of families forward, of all things goodness forward. So that is why I'm here. That is who I am. And I am totally up for your questions, your comments. So make sure you call in, make sure you share the live, and, do what you do, blow this thing up. So that's what I got.
So I see you every week at the market. What's going on with the market? What's your role there?
So I am the market manager over at Penn Market. We are located at 380 West Market Street in the sunny city of York, Pennsylvania, right here, my home. And right now we have about 25 permanent vendors. And one of the big purposes of the market is truly to meet the need of the people through, nutritious food, healthy food, delicious food. And as the market manager, I always try to make it so that we do not turn into like a food court, but actually recognizing that we are in a food desert. So being able to make affordable, healthy foods accessible to our neighbors and people that come from afar as well. So that's pretty much what I do. I am very community oriented. So one side of the market that right now is kind of vacant, we utilize for community partnerships and just things that uplift our community. So for instance, on Saturdays, we have the Penn Market House Band, who is just a wonderful group of retired gentlemen who play their instruments and just have a good time from 10 to 12 every single Saturday. Another initiative that we have over at the Penn Market is our community closet, where community members, they go through their closets and say, you know what, instead of taking it maybe to other places for donations, we're taking our clean, freshly laundered clothing to the market so that those who are in need are able to access those things. Another thing we do is oh, let me back it up because I always forget her, but I do want to just shine a light on the young lady who runs Mother's Menagerie. Her name escapes me right now, but she really, really holds it down as far as bringing a copious amount of clothing to ensure that our friends and neighbors who are in need have fresh laundered clothing to wear. Another initiative or a partnership that we have at the market in the name of community engagement is every second Saturday. We host Bible Tabernacle's women's ministry where they come and they bring clothing, they bring hygiene bags, they bring all kinds of different things. Because I'm sure at some point somebody's going to want to talk about the elephant in the room. And we have a lot of our unhoused brothers and sisters in that area because that's where the resources are, right?
Not to interrupt you
yeah.
real quick before it slips my mind.
Yeah.
So you're saying every Saturday someone can bring donate clothes? Because I just did a little house cleaning at my house and I have a big bag of clothes. So like this Saturday, God willing, I could bring clothes there?
Absolutely. So I do take donations on Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. I do ask that when people bring them, that they are freshly laundered, ready to wear, because a lot of the people that are utilizing that service don't have a way to wash it. So it's like a grab and go type of situation. But I also ask that people email me or set something up with me so that it's not like just people are just dumping it and leaving. Because I don't want it to become that. And we've done really, really good as far as being able to kind of control that. And so that it doesn't turn into like this dumping ground of just stuff that people don't want anymore. You talking to me right now? You good? Come on.
All right. Okay.
So we do that. We do household items, just all kinds of different things.
Okay, more than just clothes.
Yeah, yep. No food, just because I don't want it to be any competition with the vendors that are there selling foods and different things like that. But, and also, the market is open. Doors are always open and shut, and things that are coming off the streets may come in, and we don't need no visitors that ain't paying no rent. Okay. Right. So we want to try to make sure that is controlled. So Mother's Menagerie, she is wonderful. She brings a lot of different things. And she gets donations from everywhere. I don't even know where she came from. She just was like, hey, can I set up? And I was like, absolutely. And she has been diligently bringing stuff for probably a year now. Wow. Every second Saturday, the women's ministry from Bible Tabernacle. Yes. So Sister CJ and her crew, they get it done. They, they come and they do all kinds and a prerequisite for getting things is not like, oh, well, you got to come and join our church. It's nice if you do, but it's not like a prerequisite, and it's not like any like proselytizing that people are doing, but more so, hey, we see a need. We're helping to meet a need. We're helping to be a part of the community. And that's what it's really all about.
Yes, ma'am.
A lot of
It's just for women.
no. Those are just the people that come and partner. But if you decide, hey, I want to come down and I want to do whatever community initiative that's free to the community, I am all for community partnerships. So if you want to have, let's say, a resource fair, right, to address, I don't know, people that are struggling with getting gainful employment, come talk to me because I can be able to host you, or we can partner in some way for free, and you don't have to pay for a facility and just do it during market hours.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I know people kind of looking for certain locations to hold those things. So that's great.
so consider the market. I'm looking right at you. You who's listening, consider the market for your next community event. As long as it's free and it's for the community, we can make sure that it's free to you as well, because that is what this space is for. It is our space. It is the community's space. In addition to, the market stuff, but I always want to make sure that there is a touch of humanity, a touch of giving back, a touch of just being a community again in everything that I do. And the market is no exception.
Yeah, I'll say in the last year or so, I guess you with other community members have really given the market a shot in the arm, because for a while there they were on life support, and it's so many vendors there. Like, is there any open space there? Like, if someone wanted to vend, it seems like it's full.
We will always make space. If you have a business, a legitimate business venture that you are trying to push, please come talk to me. I will make space, because again, this is community. So they say it's full, but there is a whole other side, the side that I'm utilizing for community initiatives that we can utilize.
Front side?
Yeah, okay. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, for $35 every Saturday, I open it up for for pop-up vending opportunities. So if you're not selling food, because I don't really want to deal with like the food license thing, and then you got to do all this, and it's just a lot. It's a lot of hoops when you're dealing with food. But if you have a non-food business or hobby or whatever you got going on, please come and talk to me if you'd like to set up a stand, because we would love to have your face in the place.
Wow, okay. So there is space available, and it doesn't have to be food. It could be, like you said, whatever.
Right. So for the full-time vendors, they have to be some type of food or household related. So think of anything you can find in a grocery store. Because again, if you look at the market's location in proximity to the nearest, food market, it's far.
Yeah.
You got to get on the bus if you don't have transportation, and then lug all your stuff. It's far.
Yeah.
Right. So we want to make sure we're still meeting the needs of our friends and neighbors in the adjacent community, but also creating opportunities for us to build our own businesses and be self-sustaining, especially in this climate, because it's getting wild out here.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I know a little while back there was a lot of discussion about the city providing funding to upgrade the market. Is that still in the works or a goal? Or
To my knowledge, it is. However, all of the fine logistics are above my pay grade, so I don't really talk about that. I just go to work and do the best that I can with what I got.
Work with what you have.
And that's it. That's all.
And if it'll come, it'll come.
That's right. But they don't pay me enough to worry about that kind of stuff, so I deal with stuff that's on my pay grade.
Well, I know you said you don't deal with that, but hopefully, God willing, with our new mayor coming up in another year or so, Miss Sandy, she's always been very into, making upgrading the the market. That was always a goal of hers. So, and current mayor, maybe if it's something that pops up, but I know he said the funding is kind of limited. So we'll get to that when it comes up. She is into upgrading the market and getting it to yeah. So we look forward to that. Anything else about the market you want to share or with us that for the community?
Not at this time, but just remember that it's not exclusive to just one person. It's our market. It's the community's market. It's what we make it. So please come. We are open on Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays from 6:30 to 3 o'clock. So I do also allow some of the vendors who are interested that sell food to do curbside service outside of those hours. Because again, we are building communities, and sometimes it takes more than 3 days a week to build communities and keep food in people's kids' mouths and just be able to, build profitable businesses.
Yes, ma'am.
So, I am so flexible.
It's a great opportunity. I know ever since, when COVID took place, that was a time for a lot of people, including myself and other people that kind of come in contact with me. They took a jump into entrepreneurship, so that just having this space available for people to go in motion and have their dreams and live their dreams of small business, and they start to dream a little bit, and then you see a little bit of success, and you get those interactions from your customers, and it just fills you with even more. Then you start dreaming big. And then next thing you know, we can have Fortune 500 companies coming out of York, and so they just can share that they get their start in let's say, humble beginnings, so to speak, in a place like the market, Penn Street Market. So thank you for opening that up for people. So like that commerce and having those monies kind of pool up inside of our communities is definitely community building.
Absolutely.
It's more than just talk. So if you're out there, if you have a business idea, you have a business plan, go check out the different opportunities that's available. I recommend doing that. It's very great.
Please do.
And talking about the market outside of that, you were discussing kind of a new career path that you were discussing. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you said, Brother Ptah, when COVID happened and everything, so many people entered into the space of entrepreneurship.
Yes, ma'am.
I was no exception.
Okay.
And I had this dream of becoming a therapist or a mental health clinician. And I was like, man, where do I start? How do I help people from where I am? Because I've overcome a lot. I've done a lot. I know a lot. I don't know it all, but I know a lot. But how can I turn this into a profitable business? Right. And it's not just for profit. However, if we're going to have a business, let's be for real.
Right.
There's a bottom line.
Yes, ma'am.
So in that, I started looking at life coach certifications because I was like, man, I got to go back. I got to go back to school. I got to, go to grad school, and then I got to get licensed, and I got to do all of these different things to become a clinician. But how can I start where I am? How can I use what I have in order to get me from here to where I want to be? So I said, I'm going to start with life coaching, and I'm going to start with women. I'm going to start with women who want to redefine themselves, reinvent themselves, rebuild themselves. Because I can't speak for being a man, y'all, but as far as being a woman, there are so many hats and masks and jobs and tasks that we're required to do and do them all well. But when you strip all of those things off, when you strip off the hat or the mask of being a wife or a girlfriend or a mother or a worker or whatever it is that you are to whoever those people are out in the world, who are you to you?
Good question.
And that is the question that we answer at Clarity and Bloom Coaching and Consulting.
What is that?
So that's my life coaching business.
Okay.
I'm located right here in York. I have in-person options as well as online options. for people.
Up there for
Oh
everybody.
yeah, I wrote a book too, y'all. So
So I guess you get to this. I don't go ahead of you. Go ahead.
right. And while I am in the business of helping women redefine and rediscover themselves, it was laid on my heart to write a book, write a workbook for marriages. Because I'm married, and I'm going to be very frank, like this is my second marriage. And I call the first one my practice run, but when you know better, you do better. So I decided the things that I've learned throughout that experience and then going into, this marriage and wanting to go into it with clarity, wanting to go into it till death do us part or to have longevity. There's a foundational building that has to happen, and the foundation has to be firm. And out of that knowledge and understanding, came this workbook called Clarity. It is a foundation building workbook for engaged and married couples. Because quite frankly, some people just jump in. They jump into marriage because it looks good, or I want the wedding and I want the dress. But then again, when the dust settles, who are we? What's going on? Do I know this person? Do I even know me? So we talk about a lot of different things within this 100 about, and it's not a long book. What is it? 75 pages? I don't know. It's a few pages. Let me see, about 100 pages or so, give or take. So, and it tackles everything from favorite colors to arrangements in the event of a untimely death. What are your wishes? What do you want? When is the right time to even have that conversation? Sure. Right? We talk about things like childhood experiences. Because in the therapeutic space, like Brother Shareef's in the therapeutic space as a profession, and I'm in the MSW program practicing to be a clinical psychotherapist currently right now, we all know that there are so many adults and grown people walking around in big people bodies, but the little person inside of them,
Particularly men. I'm coming at the men on that one. Absolutely.
Right. It's still hurt.
Yeah.
It's still wounded. It's still bleeding. It still doesn't have emotional intelligence. Whatever that child is, wherever that wound is, and if that wound happened when they were 8 years old, there's an 8-year-old still in there crying. Sure. Right, to be healed, still crying, to just for somebody to help them. This book makes you face those things, address those things, figure out how you want your spouse to support you through those things. And if you don't know, again, helps you to figure those things out. And it's not just about childhood traumas, different things like that. But, when is a right time to say, hey, did anything adverse happen in your childhood to your partner? Like, when is that like a dinner conversation? Is that like pillow talk? Like when? Right. So now you can blame the weird, uncomfortable conversation that maybe you might not have had on me, because now it's facilitated through this book that was created specifically for you and to build a firm foundation.
Absolutely. That's very, very timely for our young people out there. In this society, it's already sex driven with the music ever since they're like 2-3 years old. So much sexual impulse music, and then you got your different reality shows, gauging everybody on their looks and things of that nature. So they enter into relationships, and a child is like their first connecting point to it. So like, what do they do from here? So definitely counseling is definitely needed, and guidance is very, very needed. So
So even if you don't come to me for premarital coaching, you still have a tool to get you to the space of clarity. Again, it's not just about adverse childhood trauma. Sometimes it's about finances. Are we going 50-50? What's that look like for you? Because come on, we're living in a day and age where people are asking people, what do you bring to the table? Okay, what does that mean? Or when you go to, go to get married or get engaged or whatever, you have this notion of till death do us part. But how are we defining till death do us part? Is it until your love dies? Or is it until the person that you love dies? Because there are different interpretations of everything. Again, this is a tool to get clear so that you don't end up in somebody's courthouse splitting your assets 50-50. Because that's not fun. Nobody wins. Brother Shareef just put up a post today about how nobody wins in divorce. As I was scrolling, I kind of seen it, and I was like, okay, well that segues in. I'm on point with that, you know. And now this is not an ironclad, tool that says these are all the things that you should talk about, but it's a good foundation to be laid, right?
Foundation, yeah.
And you have to be honest. And then when you get the honest responses, what do you do with them? You have a decision to make once you're faced with the reality of who your partner is or who you are. So
I really am. I'm glad you saw that post. I really wanted people to understand. I'm not gonna say any names, but someone I know, I just learned is going through a divorce, and a divorce, it isn't just the two people, it's the children, but it's the community, because whoever the two people are, people take sides.
right.
You know, some people gonna side with the husband, some people gonna side with the wife, and it affects the whole community, and God hates it, but he allows it if you just don't get along and you can't make it work. You know, God don't like it, but it affects the whole community. And then springboarding off of what you said earlier, before you even get married, I tell people it is vital that I suggest, I learned this in school, it's called a genogram. A genogram is a it's a family tree. It's like a family tree where you discuss medical, psychological, financial. You go through all that, and it's like a family tree, and you go down through the family history of the person. How did your mom handle trauma and stress? How did your dad? Is there any mental health issues? Is there any medical issues? All that is discussed in what you call a genogram. And anything that's going on with that person, it should be discussed before you get married. So definitely write that down, people out there, a genogram.
Right.
And anyone in your family that can go back at least 3 generations, because you see patterns of behavior. I had to write a genogram when I was in school. I said, it's a dumbass thing I gotta do. Then I looked at it, I was like, you start seeing patterns.
Yes.
My uncles, I'm just be straight up, uncles, alcohol addiction, drug addiction, physical abuse, mental abuse, aunts, all these different relationships and all this. You just start seeing a pattern all the way up to the present day, going back 3 generations. I was like, what was my great, grandmama? She was mean. What was my granddad like? He was mean. He had 13 children. You know what I mean? So he had to be mean, but you start seeing a pattern. So
Right.
yeah.
And then I even take it a step further. Once you are revealed with the truth, or once the light of truth is shined on your 3 generations, and maybe generational cycles or generational trauma or generational whatever is running through your blood, you have a decision to make.
Yep.
Does it stop with you, or does it continue with you? And then what plan are we making so that it does stop with you and doesn't travel down the line through your kids and your children's children and your children's children's children? And then when your great granddaughter or son is in grad school doing a genogram, they ain't looking at your name like, oh man, well he had this and he did that, because you didn't make a
They
decision.
call it breaking a cycle.
Yeah, because you didn't make a decision to say the buck stops here.
That's exactly what I was going to say too. All my generational curse breakers out there. I think I got to that point similar to what Shareef was sharing. Just seeing how the males in my family were conducting themselves. And I just at that moment, even as a youth, I decided, okay, well, I know what I'm not going to do. I'm not saying that I know exactly what I'm going to do. I just know what I'm not going to do. And thankfully, that led, to a whole nother kind of little branch, like you were saying. So I can kind of foresee generations down that my great-grandchildren won't be able to experience some of the things that I had to see,
Right.
that we had to see kind of growing up, with alcohol abuse, drug abuse, and just infidelity. All my brothers out there, we need it's a clear time to be that generational curse breaker. Like I said, we got so many impetus and so many things with the music, and sometimes it seems like the odds are stacked against us. But true and believe that you do have the ability to. You got to be strong. You got to shield your past, and yet have another hand to kind of reach out and produce the seeds for the future. So shout out to all my generational curse breakers. They're the ones who take on double hits so that their generation in the future, won't experience any of that. We need more of that as well in the community.
Well, if you get a chance, can you post that genogram?
If I know how to spell
Oh yeah,
it.
Geno. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You got it.
GENOGRAM. Yep, you're right.
Oh, okay.
And there's actually a software called Geno Pro that you can download right onto your computer, and it's literally a fill in the blank, and it will help you to be able to visualize. Because we can say, oh, we know, or I knew my grandma or my grandpa, or I knew that they struggled with this, but until you see it in front of you, yeah. Because I seen some stuff when I had to do it for grad school, and I was like, wow, okay, all right. And when I was again faced with the truth, I had a decision to make. Do I want to continue this cycle, or do I want to say the buck stops here? And I made a decision. So yeah.
And so it's amazing how you see this repetition with behavior within the family, because those who you're around the most, that's who you learn, that's who you learn from. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, my aunt, my uncle, this and that person, and it just went right on down the line, with the behavior. I definitely highly recommend, a family. And you don't need a professional, or just need someone that can go back at least 2 to 3 generations, all the way as far as you can go. And unfortunately, a lot of some black people can't go past their grandma, or their grandfather. I know I can't. I remember I was talking with my uncle not too long ago, and I asked him who was his grandparents, and he said he didn't know. His grandparents, he said he didn't know. And I'm open. My life is an open book. I never knew my biological grandfather on my father's side, because they didn't get along, because they said he was so rigid. My father never talked about him. I thought another man was my grandfather until my aunt called. This is when we have cell phones. And she said, Eric, that's what my name was then. She said, where's your dad at? I said, Auntie, he's not here. What's going on? She said, your grandpa passed away. I said, well, I know Grandpa Lindsay then passed away. No, that wasn't your granddad. Reverend Howard was your granddad. So who's that? I asked my dad about it. I don't want to talk about it. Everything is like a secret sometimes in black families. He said, I don't want to talk about it. That man was mean. I was like, well, I got robbed of knowing my granddad because you didn't get along with him. Rest my dad's soul. He was a great man. But that there, just some things, black families.
Too many times that happens.
But then how did that influence, now I'm turning into the interviewer, y'all, but then how did that influence your fathering style? Because I see you're very active with your boys, when they're in town and stuff.
Yeah, it didn't affect that. It's just, these dark secrets, my dad was very a great father to me, but when it came to his father, I guess he tried to father me different because he didn't have a good relationship with his dad. You're talking about back in the 40s and 50s in the deep South. He was one of 13 children, and he said his dad had to be, not had to be, but he was very rigid because they lived on a farm, and if you was outside playing and they called you in to get something to eat, if you ain't come in, and if it wasn't nothing to eat, you just ain't eat. You know what I mean? But he said he was very rigid, so he tried to be a little, I don't want to say looser, but, you know, understanding with me, but it was very hurtful because I never had a relationship with my biological grandfather. My grandmom remarried, and I thought his name was Lindsay. I thought Reverend Lindsay was my grandfather. Because my dad didn't have a great relationship with his dad, he didn't have nothing to do with him. So, you know, it's just, you know, everyone, not everyone, but a lot of black families have, you know, some kind of dark, secret or something. It just, that's just how it was.
Yeah. But, sorry. I do want to bring something out, even in that, with the dark secrets and the dark past. There's a philosophy, even in the Bible, it says, light and darkness can't coexist. So make a decision today to be the light. I'm looking at you. You looking at me. Make a decision today to be the light, because light and darkness cannot coexist.
Absolutely. And even speaking of the conversation we were talking about, this is a great segue into the Father's Playtime.
Ooh.
Before I get into
I like how you did that.
I did that. But for anybody that's listening, like I said, this is going out live on the White Rose Community Channel 16 and Channel 18, as well as the going out live on Facebook. The call-in number, if you want to join the conversation, the phone number is 717-846-5067. And we're also keeping a fine eye on the Facebook comments as well. And so just mentioning that on April 26th, you kind of see behind us, Shareef back there is the Father's Playtime at the Viney Grimes Gym. This is located in York, Pennsylvania on College Avenue. What's the address? You know, everybody knows where the college. You know where it's at.
Over there. It's on the thing.
Yeah, it's on the thing. It's between Queen Street and Duke Street. So what it is on from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Father Playtime, open gym. Come out with your youth. We see them with their tablets. You got the tablets, iPhone. Good Lord, it's so hard to try to get them away from them tablets. So if you want to find time, for me and my youth, what we do, we're into anime. You know, that's one of the things. Anime is some like Japanese style cartoons. You know what I mean? So if you don't find something. If you got your young people, you gotta find something to relate with them. Gotta be down on their level. See, plus it's good to kind of be in their business a little bit to see what they're involved in. Because if you're on the World Wide Web, you have no idea. My son was on a chat group one time when he was young, good Lord, and I got on. It was all adults. Now, he was like 12 years old at the time. I was like, what in the world? No, I got to get up off of it. That's a dangerous place sometimes being on that web. But getting out with your children and getting the exercise. Sometimes you're getting kind of old there. You might used to be on the basketball team and things. You get to Body Grounds and move around. They got a large indoor facility. I think like 10 or 12 different rims. So in that, Sean Walker, this wonderful gentleman that you see here with Britney, opens that up. Playtime open gym as well on Wednesdays and Thursdays from 6th to 12th graders. I say this for youth. We believe very, very strongly in youth athletics. In youth athletics, you can learn a lot of leadership skills, team building, things of that nature. And so get them off the streets, get them inside of a real wonderful place, calm, peaceful. You got adults in there, y'all. Watch and make sure your youth is not over there, using language they're not supposed to be doing. We going back to the days where it takes a village.
Right.
So in this particular establishment, I've been in there. I couldn't make the last previous one, but I will be making this one coming up. Bring your youth out, playing with them, get a nice little games together, grow together. Play is very synonymous with clay. Whenever you take clay and you mold something, play is that same way. So you see youth doing youth athletics and things of the way. Just a way, like I said, to get them the leadership skills. So like I said, open gym Wednesday and Thursdays from the 6th to 12th graders from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And on April 26th, excuse me, Father Playtime. Come out with your youth, get involved. And it's more than just like basketballs and things. It's like board. We talk a little bit about it.
There are board games. There are, of course, you got basketball. I know my husband said he was going to put up like the volleyball net. And I want to just back it up just a little bit because it really was laid on his heart to do something for fathers. Because a lot of times fathers get the short end of the stick. Like, let's be for real. When things happen, like divorce, like how Brother Shareef was talking about, or breakups, or just things just don't work out. Sometimes men are only able to see their kids on the weekends sometimes. Yeah. Well, Sean is very intentional about making sure that these are on the weekends, on a Saturday, so that if you have weekend visitation, and maybe you don't have the funds to be able to ball out and take your kid wherever, you can still have quality time with your child where both of you guys have fun, both of you guys can bond. So if that's over a game of basketball or a game of cards, a game of goldfish, a game of Connect Four, whatever that looks like for you guys, please go out, spend some time with your children in that space, and also build community with other men who are also taking care of their kids. Because a lot of times too, I noticed that men get a bad rep about, they're absent or they're deadbeats or they're this or they're that. And I have my thoughts as far as mothers creating barriers unnecessarily, but I'll reserve that because there's not enough time. But building community is very, very important. And to be able to look to your left and your right and draw strength on days when you may not feel like Superman, and see other men there, humanizing the experience of fatherhood is so, so important. So please take your children down to Father's Playtime at Vonnie Grimes Gym. The next one is going to be on April 26th from 5 to 8 p.m. Totally free. Absolutely free, no strings attached.
Totally free.
There'll be snacks, there'll be drinks, there'll be other fathers there with their children. And it's not exclusive to sons. So if you have a daughter, bring your daughter too. Okay, if you have a suggestion, please send an inbox. You can send it to me, you can send it to Brother Shareef, Brother Ptah, whoever, to have a suggestion if your child is interested in a certain thing, so that we can make sure that the time that you guys spend there at Father Time is meaningful for you and your child and or children. Thank you. Oh, and if there are children that do not necessarily have like a dad in their life or a father figure, there are men there that are volunteering to be father figures or male influences. So don't be afraid. Like mothers, send your kids down there. It's fine. And it's safe. So
good people. That's what my dad said. There's a lot of terms you can judge somebody being good people, good, well-meaning people that care about your youth. Are in the building. Indeed.
And everybody has their clearances, so.
Yes.
That's my spiel on that.
Mm-hmm. You'll find me there.
You hit it.
I don't know if you're going to get there, Shareef.
Definitely.
Get a little two-ball action.
Now, what's the next one? April
26th. It's a Saturday.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my boys are coming for spring break, so they may miss that, but I'll still like to participate, because you hit a key point. We often, especially in our community, talk about the detrimental effect of fathers not being in our boys' life. But very rare do we talk about how it affects our girls. It's something going on. It's going viral, so I'm not talking about them. A good friend of mine, I know him. It's been coming out that Dr. Umar Johnson, the psychologist, he's a very popular speaker. He talks about the children in the school system. It's been coming out that he hasn't been in the life of, supposedly hasn't been in the life of his daughters. And his 22-year-old daughter came out, said he's never been in my life. And she talks about supposedly how it has, affected her. So it isn't just the boys; it's it's the females too. And then Dr. Umar, who's a friend of mine, says, like you said, that the mom has kept him from the daughter. But I don't care. For me, I don't care what age the child is. Make a way. I said that on my page before. You don't let no one keep you from your children, male or female. You make a way until you've exhausted all your resources, because your children need you. And I've never seen a child that doesn't want their parent, their father in their life. I've never seen that. And I work with children. I'm going to say it again. I've never seen a child that don't want to be a part of their father's life. I've never seen it. And they don't volunteer to be used as a weapon against their father either. I have a brother who reached out to me, and he's really going through something with, matter of fact, that was on the internet too, so that's not no secret. But he put out there how he's going through hell trying to see his daughter, because the mother is doing everything she can to keep him, but he keeps on fighting. So you fight for your children because your children need you, and mothers, don't be using your children as a weapon against their father, because it's not going to work for you anyway in the long run. They'll just resent you. Yeah.
And that kind of goes. Yeah, and that kind of goes to the previous conversation which you was talking about before. Why it's important when you get with someone that you actually learn a little bit about who you're dealing with, so to speak. I had the same thing with a family member of mine. He got involved with a woman, and that was her genogram was that whole mentality of the women. That's how they treated men. So if he was foreseen to be forewarned, so a little bit of that forewarnedness, can prevent you from getting involved in situations like that. And unfortunately, a lot of men have been experiencing like those difficulties, because even in child support and things of that nature, it's just a horrible.
Can't give up. You can't. Your children.
Yeah.
Your children need you.
And it seems like sometimes that system, it seems to be skewed. I ain't gonna lie. When they want to get when they say, okay, well, you're gonna get going to cut off your food stamps or your housing assistance and things of that nature. It behooves them to keep those type of governmental type of benefits, and so that's the man that they're going to cleave to. And so when you're coming in outside of that and you don't understand that relationship with the governmental assistance, you're going to be on the outside looking in. But like you said, there is no excuse. You can get a cell phone in there, just call and text or something. But we need that in order to break these generational curses that we see running rampant across the nation. We are in an epidemic, as far as our youth they need both parents, in their lives, because, you see how kind of like things have kind of unfurled, so to speak.
As long as the parent's healthy, though, I do want to make sure that we are very clear in our rhetoric as far as making sure that the parent-child relationship is healthy.
True indeed.
Because all people ain't good people.
True indeed.
You know what I mean? And that's mothers included, fathers included. People are people, and people be peopling. Okay? So we do want to make sure that, the people that we are, encouraging people to... encouraging to fight for their children are people that are not going to harm their children.
Yeah, true indeed.
Yeah,
right?
some parents aren't fit to be parents.
Right.
So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about...
Yeah. But we want it to be clear, because if we're making, generalized statements,
for sure,
we want to make sure that we're clear on that, because I can just hear it. I can hear somebody, but they don't know. He did this and he or she did this and she did... We ain't talking about that, y'all, okay? But we're talking about in ideal situations where both parents are stable, mentally stable, emotionally stable, and their stability is not contingent upon whether you and their relationship worked out or not. So don't make that the measuring stick as far as if you say that they're stable or not. But we're talking about real, mental, emotional, physical instabilities that would prohibit them from being parents to the children.
That's right.
So, and do what's in the best interest of the children. And there's two ways to do things. There's more than one way to do things. So just because that parent doesn't do it your way doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong. So I think that it's important to also have that conversation. But again, that comes through getting clear about what co-parenting is going to look like after the demise of any relationship.
Very well said. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That took a turn, y'all. Look. But yeah, so go ahead.
And then I have a question because you did mention and we're going to try to get to your comments. We got about 10 more minutes for those that are watching on the White Rose Community Channel 16 and 18. Like I said, we're going to go a little bit longer for those on Facebook. And if you do want to call in and add to the conversation, phone number is 717-846-5067. We have Britney Walker, representative from the Penn Street market, sharing some great opportunities for all you business vendors out there, pop-up vendors, or wanted. We want to hear your expression. We want you to be passionate about your passions. If you tired of working, you tired about that job, there's other options. You don't have to just toil your life away. Find what excites you in life, and if it happens to be going into this type of business and things of that nature, definitely check her out. And then not only in the Penn Street market has vending opportunities, but you also mentioned about the Mother's Menagerie. I said that right?
Yeah, Mother's Menagerie.
No spittle neither. Mother Menagerie. And as well, I want to ask you about the Bible Tabernacle Women Ministry. Can you speak a little bit about that and when that is? Is that on a particular day, or is that held in there exclusively, or is it? How's that?
Yeah, so they partner with us at Penn Street Market every second Saturday of the month. They usually open up like 9 or 10 in the morning until, their stuff is gone or they just have to go. They're exclusively running off of volunteers within that women's ministry. Again, they're not proselytizing. That word always trips me up, but y'all know what I mean. But they are simply out here helping people, being a part of the community, not giving handouts, but hands up. So again, if you're in need, come every second Saturday. They have clothing, they have hygiene items, different things like that. And then of course, we have our free table at Penn Market as well. So in addition to that, I also am a certified life coach. You heard some of the conversations that we had, and those are things that are very close to our hearts, I believe, as individuals. But I believe that they are very, very real situations that occur maybe in your households too. So if you need help navigating that space, please reach out. I, again, run Clarity in Bloom Coaching and Consulting. Brother Shareef, he's a mental health clinician. He's accepting clients. I'm accepting clients. So help is here if you need it. Help is here within our community. Help is here with people who look like us, sound like us, talk like us, have shared experiences like us. So do not hesitate to reach out, because there is often a stigma that's associated with seeking mental health services or just seeking assistance, period. But we are here. We all get by with a little help from our friends, and we want to partner with you as you traverse this life, these situations, and make it to the other side.
Any contact information? So
you can reach out to me at Clarity in Bloom on all social media sites, or Clarity in Bloom at Outlook.com, ClarityInBloom.com. I'm everywhere, Clarity in Bloom. You can look it up. In addition to life coaching services, I offer premarital coaching as well. I offer wedding officiant services. So I have like an a la carte thing where, if you got your marriage license, I can marry tomorrow if I'm available, but it's gonna cost you. So we have we got cost sheets. I have add-on services, all kinds of different things to ensure that your happily ever after is exactly how you envision it. But first, make sure you do that foundational work and get your book called Clarity, the Foundational Building Workbook that I wrote. So, yeah.
Yes, we just don't want people to get married, but the important thing is staying.
Come on, happily married, okay?
Yeah, and I hope I think that's something that needs to be pushed in our community more, because the statistics show that black women are the least likely, to be married out of all ethnic groups, and it's the same every year. I look at those statistics, and this garbage music that's going on now pushes infidelity and reckless sex and all that, but not marriage. But other ethnic groups, they're getting married, and that's something that's really taught, them to be married, So, well, we want that, and we need, again, we was talking about mental health. We need that. I think we're getting a little better, but women typically are more open to counseling, and men are still very hard-headed when it comes to getting counseling. They think that they're Superman, but pressure bursts pipes. That's why some men be flying off the handle because they're not, they're not talking.
Right. Right.
They're not being honest with their feelings, and then they just start flying off of the handle because they're keeping a lot of it in. Like I said, I think people are doing a little better, but especially with men, especially black men, no one has pressure like we do. We've got a long way to go when it comes to admitting their feelings.
Yeah, I think it's also vital to address the why, because we can say, oh, they just fly off the handle, they just do this, they just do that, but we can't do what we weren't taught, right? So if you were never taught emotional intelligence, or if you never experienced that or seen that or were modeled that, how can it be an expectation that you have emotional intelligence? Right?
It has to be taught.
Right. It's a learned skill, and it's a muscle that's used. And a lot of people don't have the language. Like I think about, and I'm raising boys, right? And in society, the only acceptable emotions for men to emote are what? Anger, rage, those things that are destructive. Yeah. But so when he flips the switch and goes into those quote unquote softer emotions, now you're soft, or now you're whatever derogatory word people want to use for you. When in all actuality, you are simply experiencing the human emotions that lie inside of all. Right? So I think that there also has to be a societal shift that makes it safe enough for men to experience and acknowledge and articulate and figure out how to deal with those other emotions that aren't necessarily acceptable in society.
And another thing with men, especially black men in general, because that's who I deal with, and youth, we're not taught conflict resolution skills. I have, young men, I may work with in the schoolyard. They get into a little argument, like, and the first thing they want to, that now these days,
Right.
that. But I have them tell him, you didn't like that.
Right.
I didn't like that. You know what I mean? And they work it out. I have them do that when they're young. They work it out, and you wouldn't believe, or you probably do, the grudges brothers have with each other. All they had to do was talk it out. Hey man, I just didn't. Again, with adults, I didn't like that. And then you got to be humble enough to listen to that and say, I apologize. I didn't mean to do that.
Right.
I ain't bragging or nothing. Just last week, we had the mayor here. And anyone that knows, I ran against him, 4 years ago, that I reached out to him a while ago. So I'm not mad at you. But when he was here face to face, I said I was kind of misguided in the political realm, and I apologized to him. I said I apologize if I offended you, or me and Commissioner Muldrow, we didn't see eye to eye, and I apologized to him. And then he made a post last week saying, I had you all wrong. He put it right there on Facebook. He said, I had you all wrong. I was listening to, the wrong people. I said, it's cool, man. I'm not mad at you. But brothers don't know how to say I apologize or I didn't like that. I didn't like that. Your own brother, family members. It's just the conflict resolution skills.
Right.
That's one of the things that I'm leading with. I'm actually developing my own curriculum as well. And there's individuals that it's been so slow development in it, and I kind of look at the world through the lens of love. And so I see phosphor. I see a new day. I believe we are entering into that new day where a man, and I lead by this. When I see people, if you see me out on the streets, if I do something to you, I'm quick. I apologize, brother. This, that, and the third, because it has to start with each and every one of us.
Right.
And so I'm definitely. I'm gonna think about changing my name to the Crying Guru, because that's one of the things that. And the mayor came to the event. I actually put up an event a couple years ago called the Extraordinary Gentleman Event. Shout out to Jamil Alexander, Rich Craighead, Oscar Ross, some individuals, Casper Hill. Individuals. We're gonna get that back. We're gonna get that back and started. So one of the things that we were speaking about is, for one, how to properly treat your woman. We're bringing chivalry back, y'all, and how to get in contact with your own emotions as well. So, like I mentioned last week about the fail early, fail often, and so those are things that I'm going to put my life to tackling in the day. Well, that's the day that I look forward to seeing, is when that, like you said, that conflict resolution, a man and a man can get together and just don't have to get so filled up with that machismo, what they call it, or like I said, what Dave Chappelle said, when keeping it real goes wrong. You know what I mean? Yeah, we've seen so many people lose their lives or be locked in a box, angelic souls that did not know how to express themselves in that key moment in time, and just go off and just make one mistake, and then that your relationship is over, your relationship with your children is over, and everything is over, all because of not understanding that conflict resolution. So if you join me in that aspect, you can look forward. I'm actually going to be presenting probably later on, in maybe a couple months or so, different programming that addresses those particular needs, because we need those particular programs. And so I'm pretty sure there's other individuals around the country starting it, but I'm going to be starting it here, and just virally we just add on, because this is what we need. We got to see each other. Respect. From one, if you have an unconditional love for yourself, then you can start to see the unconditional love for your brother, and then we can start treating our sisters right. And we got to build this thing. We got to flip these cards back over, because it's up to us.
Right. I love that. I love that so much.
It's happening.
Before we end out, we're past the 9 o'clock hour that fast. Anything else you want to share? You could mention your beautiful book again.
Yeah,
Let
sure.
me know anything else you want to share before we end out.
Well, my shameless plugs, y'all. We've come to the time. So again, Father's Playtime is going to be at Bonnie Grimes Gym April 26th from 5 to 8. Open gym is happening right now for grades 6 through 12, and that's from 6 to 9 p.m. Also, I believe that they are partnering and having like dinner that's going to be served and stuff there too. So
okay.
there's a lot of
father.
no with open gym.
Oh, okay.
So Please reach out. Please inquire. Please send your kids. It's safe. People complain all the time. There's nothing in the city for people to do. Here's something for people to do that is absolutely free and safe. Clarity Premarital Workbook, written by yours truly. If you would like a copy, you can either comment below, you can inbox me, Britney Walker, or Clarity in Bloom, or you can go on Amazon and just search Clarity and then Britney Walker. It'll pop right on up and you can get it. I always got some in my trunk. So like the man that sells the mixtapes, I got books in my trunk. So if you roll up on me at Penn Market, I'm going to pop the trunk on you. Okay? We're going to get these books out here and people are going to build their marriages on firm foundations. If I have anything to do with it, it's going to happen because, listen, the nucleus of this whole world is family. Family. So build your family on a firm foundation. Pop-ups every Saturday, $35, Penn Market. All you got to do is reach out. Again, comment below, inbox me, call me, beat me if you want to reach me. I am around, okay? Don't just pop up though and say, oh, I'm here for pop-up Saturday. That ain't how that works. But reach out to me first. My email for the market is Britney, Britney, Walker, common spelling, Walker, 11 @outlook.com. Make sure you like and follow and share with all your friends Penn Market, as well as Clarity in Bloom. And again, if you want to put on a community event that is free to the community during market hours, you are free to utilize the market absolutely free of charge because we want to continue to build healthy families, healthy communities, and make sure that we are giving back to the community that has given so much to us. So thank you so much for your time, guys.
About Scarlet Rose, when's the next performance?
So I'm taking some time off from singing. Catch me in 2026. Fortunately, I'm in grad school right now. And it is taking every fiber of brain cell that I have, every bit of time that I have to be able to do grad school and do it well.
Sure.
And the program is very rigorous. If you get a C, you go on academic probation. If you keep that C, they kick you out the program. I ain't got time for that. So I cannot be distracted at this time. So unfortunately, I am not doing any shows. However, after May of 2026, I'm back like I never left.
And you, I know you just said you're pretty busy with your education. I remember those days. Do you have any time for like life coaching?
Yeah, so I take clients. My books are open for coaching clients, as well as therapy. I actually am the therapy technician at Synchronicity Be Well, which is a private psychotherapy practice out of Philadelphia. We do exclusively virtual therapy sessions. Right now, I'm running a trauma recovery group, as well as doing individual client work. So therapy, I can take insurances and life coaching, as well as couples coaching that is private pay. But I do offer payment plans, so we're good.
It's so many of our sisters that are carrying around so much hurt and deep scars that it's unreal. And this is another conversation. Maybe I can bring you back. A deep, dark secret in the Black community is sexual abuse. I have a book. I actually was in contact. I meant to bring it. It's called Battered Black and Blue, the Black Woman. And she talks about how many Black women have suffered sexual abuse as early as 8 years old. And they carry that hurt. And some have reached out to me, and I do what I can, but I think another woman would be better to relate to, but you wouldn't believe the amount of sisters that have reached out to me and said, my father, my stepfather, or the mother's boyfriend has violated me, and they've never gotten no treatment, and they're in their 30s, 40s, or even older, and they're still carrying that hurt around. And this is the God's to heaven truth. Hear me on this. Hear me on this. I've been married before, but before that, I've been around the block a little bit. Do you know every single black woman that I have been involved with has told me they've been sexually abused? Every single one.
It's very common, unfortunately. And like you said, it's a deep, dark secret. A lot of people don't come forward. And one of the big reasons why a lot of people don't come forward is because it's done by somebody who is in their family or somebody who is very, very close to their family.
Mother's boyfriend.
Right? It's very rarely is it a stranger. I mean,
very rarely.
You know,
that's spooky stuff.
Right. But majority of the time, it is happening within homes with people that, you know, whether it's an uncle, a brother, a cousin. You know, that's why it's really important for us as parents too to establish the safe space of helping your kids understand good touch and bad touch, actually telling them the real words. So when somebody comes and, you know, touches whatever, or, you know, does what violates in some type of way, they're able to properly articulate it in a way that will get them the help that they need. And also creating a safe space that says, if something were to happen, I want you to know that I'm going to believe you and I'm always going to be on your side. Because time and time again, violations have occurred with girls and boys, where the child has mustered up enough courage to come forward and say, mom or dad or whoever, grown up, hey, this happened to me, and the grown up did nothing.
Well, the family are protecting these perverts.
Right. Because I tell you what, if we all know, now I'm gonna just call it Uncle Johnny. I will call it an Uncle Johnny. I don't have an Uncle Johnny, but y'all will get this in the scenario. If every time Uncle Johnny comes around, all the little girls are told, don't be over there in his face, don't be doing this, don't be doing that, why the heck are we allowing Uncle Johnny to still come to the cookout? Why are we still allowing Uncle Johnny to come to Christmas dinner? If people gotta hide your kids, hide your wife. It's inappropriate. At what point is somebody going to deal with Uncle Johnny?
Yeah.
But it's such a normal scenario that's so weird, especially, I can't speak for no other community, but in our community, it's so common, and it boggles my brain.
Family has an Uncle Fester.
Yeah, I should have called him Uncle Fester, huh?
Yeah.
No offense, Uncle Johnnies who are out there watching. Okay, but
yeah, it's like it's a deep, dark secret, and then even some of the mothers will say, "What did you do to make him do that to the girl?"
Right.
Like, what? She's an innocent girl. What do you mean? What did she do to make him do that? And I've given, when I was a little more fiery, you know, before I, started dealing with my illness, I used to really go in on this, but the fire is still, the fire is still there about this deep, dark secret, in a lot of our families. I always said a child molester is worse than a murderer, because at least with a murderer, it may be an excuse why a murder occurred. We don't want no one to kill anyone, but at least with a murder, you may have, the weapon might have went off, you may have lost your temper, but there is no excuse for a child molester. This is a well thought out evil plan. You just don't trip and fall into a little girl or boy's room and start touching them. You just don't trip and fall and do that, but you do it on purpose, and it's well thought out. They are worse than murderers. And we shouldn't be making excuses and protecting these people within our family, because it almost puts a scar on them forever. And another deep, dark secret on top of that is it happens to the boys too. I believe it's almost worse than a girl. I mean, there is nothing worse. It's all bad. But we have boys who have been violated, and now they got to carry that around and be macho. Young girls are more apt to come out and say, yes, I've been violated. I want help. But do you know what that does to a boy to admit that someone violated him in that way? They are much, much less going to come out. I know this. I know that. It happened to Richard Pryor. It wasn't until he started doing his comedy that he started admitting that someone violated him. And many other actors and famous people. Tyler Perry. He's not really right. If you want to admit it, if you want to be straight up, it is catastrophic to a young man for that to happen to a young man. It's catastrophic for a girl too, but they are more apt to come out and say, yes, this happened. I want help. But for that for a young man to be violated like that,
We just need the men.
It's catastrophic.
Men to step up and help support our women and to put an end to that.
Right.
So that's what's on the way.
Yeah.
Right. So
I didn't mean to go into that,
No.
but it was on my heart.
No, if it's on your heart, it means it's on somebody else's heart too, and it means somebody's supposed to hear that.
True.
So with that though, I don't want to leave that wound open, right? So how do we go from that place of hurt, go from that place of just terrible evilness, right? To a place of healing and wholeness and empowerment, because our life can't stop there. Yes, it happened, but how do we recover? What coping skills do we get along the way? How do we leverage this unfortunate thing that happened to us, this heinous crime that has happened to us, and leverage it for the good of the person that's coming up behind us that may have experienced the same thing? Because nothing is done in vain. Nothing is wasted. So how do we utilize those experiences after we're healed, after we seek, whether it be therapeutic treatment, whether it be groups, whether it be going to church, whether it be meditation? What does your healing look like to get you to the other side? It doesn't erase what happens, but it heals that child inside. So in that, I think it's necessary and responsible as coaches, clinicians, people that work in the mental health space to address some of the strategies that people could utilize to heal from those things. So as a clinician, of course, we'll talk about therapy, but do you have any other healing mechanisms to help people get to the other side of that hurt? You do?
Yes, indeed.
Look, he said yes, indeed. No, I was asking, did you have any other healing strategies or any recommendations that people could do
Related to that issue?
To healing, to getting to the other side, from going from victim to victor?
Right.
What would you suggest as a clinician?
Well, making sure you're in that safe space and you're not connected to, because it's a lot of people who re-injure themselves, and they it's deep. I'll be willing to take, even though I'm a therapist, I'll be willing to take some suggestions with with that. That's a tough one. I ain't gonna act like I have the the answers
Right.
The answers to that, and it's more when I'm talking to that individual, because even though the same thing may happen to someone, people take it different.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
yeah, it kind of.
So I'll say go to therapy. I'm an advocate for therapy. I am a testament of what therapy can do as far as your own healing journey. And it's not a one size fits all approach. However, therapy will bring it back out to the open. It will uproot those things. And it may not always feel good. It may not always look good. It may, not always, feel like, oh my God, like I feel so empowered when I leave this session. But that uprooting process is so powerful, because how do you kill the tree of shame? How do you kill the tree of being a victim? How do you kill the tree of evil that has went down through your family line? You uproot that thing. You cut it off. It ain't always pretty. Go to therapy. Get the help that you need, and understand that the people that did that to you, it's because they made a decision. It was nothing that you did.
Right. Not your fault.
Not your fault at all. But your healing is your responsibility. So choose this day to walk forward in healing, wholeness, in getting the help that you need in order to, again, move from victim to victor. Because you can walk in victory. You can walk in healing. You can walk in wholeness. But you got to work for it. You got to do the work. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to get the help that you need to recover.
And don't, keep it, to yourself.
Right. Right.
You need someone from the outside to help you heal.
Absolutely. And I'll be running a second iteration of my trauma group. This one is done in May. So I may pick up the second iteration of my trauma recovery group. Probably, I'm thinking maybe like August or September. And it's a women's group. So, there are women who have different types of trauma, but some of the women that are in the group have experienced this type of trauma too, because again, while our experience is exclusive to us and the way we feel is exclusive to us, trauma in itself is not exclusive to us. So it's important that we have community and figure out collectively how we can support one another and also be of support to somebody else. So yeah, that's my spiel, man. That's my spiel.
This has been very powerful. You're welcome back anytime, and we wish you well on your journey, and we look forward to having you on again.
Absolutely.
And you'll, God willing, see me at the market.
Indeed, indeed.
All righty, thank you.